Who the Wild Things Are with Ryan McGuire.
You gotta listen to your body.
Oh my God, maybe, I could get out there, I could do this.
Let's take a ride, find your wild side, real stories, see with your own eyes.
It's so beautiful.
I'm gonna have the best time out here.
I was in tears. I was like, that's the best, man.
Welcome back to Who the Wild Things Are. My name is Ryan McGuire, and I'm here to bring you conversations with the most wild folks on the planet. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. And if you enjoyed the episode, share it with a friend. Appreciate you guys. Let's get it going. What's going on, guys? Today's episode is brought to you by the fine folks at Blokes. Blokes is a men's health company that specializes in hormone health, weight loss, sexual health, longevity, all those sorts of things where you feel like something might be a little bit off. Blokes is here to help. They provide labs and blood work. They can help you test your testosterone levels or different biomarkers so that you can be at your best and show up as the ultimate version of yourself. They provide one-on-one health coaching and the ability to meet with a board-certified doctor in order to correct those things that might be going wrong in your body. If you want to get some blood work done, get your labs done, go ahead and go to blokes.co or check the show notes for more info. Once again, that's blokes.co. Also, get Blokes on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. Let's do the show.
Wow, it's way more simple than I thought.
Yeah.
When I look at this shit, dude, I see like chop suey, bro. Like it's technology in me.
Not
it's
your
just
thing.
not. No.
Well, I got lucky because the high school I went to,
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to school. So one of the options was something they called digital media arts.
Yeah.
So when I was like 16 or I guess like 17, senior in high school, the first like 2 hours of my day was like Photoshop, cameras,
Dude, that's
microphones.
huge. This was high school?
Yeah. It was like a college course.
Yeah.
And literally I use nothing from high school now, but I'm like, well, at least I know how to use cameras.
Yeah.
And like,
Dude,
got familiar with that stuff.
There's nothing tangible from fucking 95% of the classes you take.
No.
It's like real life experience, you know?
Yeah.
And if they start doing more of that, but the better.
Yeah, I think especially with like video editing, I don't know anybody in any field that doesn't cross video editing at some point.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like,
I mean,
you
even
could
on
be
your
a
phone.
lawyer, you
Yeah.
could be a doctor.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're any.
Totally.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you sit. It's
Well,
like,
we were at dinner last night, and we were talking about colleges, and that's another thing that I didn't like. I don't remember a single thing about college other than the power of networking. And her daughter is going to University of San Diego. It's $65,000 a year.
damn.
Ivy Leagues are now $80,000 a year. If you're not getting takeaways from that, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't have the stranglehold on information anymore.
No, no doubt.
The info's all available.
And like one of the guys last night was saying, okay, add that up over 4 years. So that's $320,000 or so. You know how many businesses you can start and fail and succeed in with $320,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Better be sure on it.
You gotta be confident. But a lot of it is kind of like the parental thing. Like, so how many parents are gonna push their kids to not go to college?
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel like most parents think the obligatory thing to say is you should go to school.
College.
Yeah.
At least it was in my era.
I
41.
feel like it's still that way.
Do you?
It's a safer bet.
Yeah, I mean, but the reality is like, man, can you imagine telling a kid, let's say a person going to be a teacher, to go to one of those type of schools, like you're going to walk out with $250,000, $300,000 in debt.
Yeah.
What the fuck how are you going to pay that back?
It's tough. I have a friend, Travis, who he started a media company, sold that, and now he's doing exotic Airbnbs. It's a really good.
What the hell does that mean?
He dude, the stuff is wild. I'll show you it.
You'll have to send me some pics.
Shout out to Travis, but he just built this. I think the budget was 1.8 million. They built like all these like Star Wars inspired caves, like 3D printed caves and like domes and all this different stuff on a dry lake bed in the middle of Utah. And they have like land cruisers like from Star Wars.
What?
And you can like Airbnb it. Yeah. Super cool
Dude,
stuff.
that's amazing.
And his point was like, it's not like don't go to college, but his point is that the internship and experience is what matters. So what you should do is either offer for free or get paid to be a CEO, like your assistant.
Dude,
and just follow
genius.
you around, or follow Eric around, or follow Wyatt from Ice Barrel around, and just Pete, anybody, whoever's an entrepreneur, just sit there and follow them around and see how do they leverage capital, how are they spending their time during the day, how much is family taking up their day, just like figuring out that split of what those folks are doing.
You know what they're going to figure out is there's no secret sauce. There's no secret formula. It's just fucking hard work.
Yeah. That's
And
the trouble.
It's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of managing that stress, you know, because I feel like one of my greatest skill sets is, you know, one, I don't know what I don't know, but when I can get in the right circle, to your point, like follow that person who you might look up to, then I can learn it.
Yeah.
But you got to see it. You got to feel it. You got to, you know, it's like a baby. You got to nurture it. And the more exposure I get, the more I can learn, the more I can become a sponge. So I think that's spot on.
That's probably a good segue, I guess, into your intro, which we kind of just hopped into this because we're excited. But let's talk about the company that you started.
Sure.
That's why we're here. And yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and Blokes and what the mission is that you guys are on.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you, people ask like what we do, and in short, we make 60-year-olds feel like they're 30. 50-year-olds feel like they're 25.
I love that.
40-year-olds feel like they're 20, man. And it truly is about that. It's truly about, you know, increasing health span, increasing vitality, potentially longevity. I'm kind of like mixed on longevity and how you can do that. There's ways to do it, but it's a skill set. But, you know, more importantly, we're here to just help guys and gals live the best versions of themselves. And it came out of my struggles with hormones. And it was a personal journey that then became a passion and a business. And it was more about, I mean, I have to thank my wife for this business because she's the one that pushed me towards my health journey. And she was sitting there going, "You're not the man I married. You're not the partner I wanted. You've changed." And I had no sex drive. I had started gaining weight in areas that I wasn't comfortable with. I had brain fog, literally 12 of these to get through the day till 2, literally. And I found, you know, me on the other end of like just not being myself. And sometimes the best person to give you that nudge or to actually tell you how bad you are is your partner or the people around you. I like to give the analogy of like snoring. Like you don't suffer if you're snoring, it's the person next to you. Yeah. So all those snorers out there, you're fucking up your partner. And if they get through it, they're just living in misery. But, you know, so that really was the catalyst that started this business. And I finally decided to take the step to try to improve my health. And I went down this journey of the traditional healthcare system, the sick care system that we talk so much about. Yeah. And I saw 2 different primary care docs actually here in Denver. I won't name them, but they said, "Hey, suck." Yeah, you suck, mother. And they said, "Hey, man, you're on the low side of the range. Go lose a few pounds. There's nothing we can do. You know, just get back to your normal day. You're a big guy. You go lift weights." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. I'm going to start doing that." Looking back now that I've become an expert in this field, that low side of the range was abnormally low. It needed to be fixed, whether it was with some type of intervention such as testosterone or other ways to boost the body's natural production, or just literally changing my whole lifestyle. It needed to happen because I had the equivalent of a 60, 70-year-old man testosterone in my mid to late 30s. And it was clearly showing up in my day-to-day. So anyways, I went back to my wife and I said, hey, they told me nothing's wrong. And she's like, fuck that. What are you talking about? Something's wrong. I'm going to divorce you. And, I just by chance, I was talking to my sister and my brother-in-law, and they said, hey, go see this guy in Golden. He'll fix you up. And I really didn't even know what the hell hormones were. You know what testosterone is, but you don't know the power of hormones and how they play such a vital role in your day-to-day. And I just became like a student of listening to him. And then I actually took the therapies, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Saved me from getting a divorce, and probably saved me from having a heart attack, and mentally just having a different outlook on life. I mean, I was partying, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was fucking up at Red Rocks all the time. I mean, I did more drugs than most people can count on, 100 hands.
Sure.
And, and then we had our fertility issues. So it was just like a cocktail of bad health.
Yeah.
And it finally has taken its toll. And then I finally found this solution. Like I was so far in a pit that it was like somebody telling me to just go work out, go run, start eating healthy was like, that was like a fart in the wind, dude. That wasn't happening. Like it was out because my body, my receptors were not getting that signal anymore. So I needed intervention, and it changed my life. And then I just, I've been an entrepreneur in healthcare for 15 years. Well, 10 years. I was with Stryker for 5 of those 15 years. And I saw holes in the system. I think we're going to be in business and we're going to thrive because there's so much bullshit in our healthcare system.
Yeah.
And whether it's navigating it, whether it's getting answers and then solutions, it's just a mess. And we live in this society from a healthcare perspective where doctors are only spending, a handful of minutes with you, and they can't properly diagnose you and treat you from a preventative and proactive way in 7 to 9 minutes. It's just not going to happen. And when your tool is a prescription, that's what you're going to utilize. And most of us can probably course correct with just strong lifestyle changes. And, we utilize pharmaceutical products, but we use them differently. We use them to live a better life, to provide more vitality. And a long-winded answer, that's why I started Blokes, is because of my personal struggles, and I saw, holes in the system. Yeah.
I think that's probably the most compelling case for a company like this to arise, is for it to come from an entrepreneur that was like, I have no libido. I'm not able to get myself to go to the gym. I'm having all these life struggles. That's a much cooler, much more authentic story to me than what I anticipate will happen with this peptides market and the hormone replacement therapy is likely going to be very intruded by big pharma, and that's kind of a scary thing. So I'm always rooting for guys like you that are like, no, I just want to help people. I don't want to be here to sell you on my idea of what you should be.
Yeah. And man, I've been in healthcare long enough to know, like, there's a lot of great and positive things. Like, sure. I don't hate big pharma. Yeah. But I hate when it's not used the right way. And I hate when doctors and nurse practitioners and PAs are in this system that they can't get out of. And, when the system becomes about volume and not value, then it really hurts the most important person, and that's the patient. And, I've lived this not only as a patient, I've lived it as a business owner. I at one point owned and operated many regenerative medicine clinics, i.e. stem cells. And when COVID hit, we were forced to shift our business and start taking insurance. And we had just such a struggle because we lost the ability, or not me, but the providers lost their ability to practice medicine the way they wanted. And what dictated how they practice was insurance and codes and workup. And some of it's logical and then some of it's not. But when you have, call it a dozen different payers that have a dozen different requirements, and a dozen different like rules and how you treat a patient, it becomes an administrative burden. And once again, the only thing or the only person that suffers is the patient. So, it's a convoluted and hard to navigate system. And I think one of the things that we are doing, or at least trying to do, is make it simple and make it easy to navigate. Because I believe that the most important person in this whole journey is the patient.
Yeah.
Because they know their symptoms.
Right.
Whether or not they can describe it to a physician to get the results they need is another thing. But I look at physicians and nurse practitioners as keeping you in safety, like making sure there's not contraindications, making sure that there's not cross-reactivity with pharmaceutical drugs, making sure they're getting you on that journey the right way. But ultimately, if you can be honest as a patient, you're going to have a lot more success with the provider.
And responsible for yourself. I think that's a big flaw, especially... I think maybe it's shifting the other way now, but the adults I saw in my life growing up were not responsible for their own health. They ate like shit, they had bad habits, and then they went to the doctor, and it was the doctor's responsibility to make them healthy, which is an ass backwards equation. Like, you should be responsible for everything related to your own health, and the doctor is simply there when there is an extraneous situation that you don't understand because you don't have the expertise.
Yep.
But most of your personal health, I would say 95% of it, you probably understand pretty well.
Yep.
Drink a lot of water, exercise, all the things we talk about.
Yeah. And the reality is, if you're doing good or bad.
Sure.
Like we deal with a lot of patients who need intervention for weight. And it's one of the hardest but easiest thing to do. But the hardest thing sometimes is just being honest with yourself. Are you holding yourself accountable? And I'll tell you, like, I've been on these therapies for a long time, and I felt them right away. They're amazing, but I didn't feel real lifelong impact until I really started watching my lifestyle changes and diet and nutrition and water and working out, weight management. That's when all of a sudden those things just kicked in. But if you're not holding yourself accountable, the journey is going to be just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. When you say these therapies, are you talking mainly about like TRT, or is there other ones that I don't know about that are out there? I'm sure there's lots of them that I'm unfamiliar with, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think it revolves around hormones such as testosterone. I think it revolves around some of our peptide therapies. But I think it can be deeper. I think it can even be supplements. I think why would you take a bunch of supplements if you're not going to make the right lifestyle choices?
Yeah.
Like, you're just wasting your money, to be honest. So I think it starts with the simple things, but the simple things are always the hardest.
Yeah. It's like, simple means straightforward. It doesn't mean easy. Right.
Yep.
So working out, getting enough sleep, those are all simple things. They're not necessarily easy. They are difficult, but they are straightforward.
They are, man. And I'll tell you, we have patients come to us all the time, and we ask them a few questions like, how's your sleep? How's your stress? How's your sex life? Those are three like things that you can likely control right now.
I think JC asked me that the last three times you're on. He's like, what's your sleep? How's your sex life? And what are you eating? Yeah. That's kind of what
totally. I mean, because if you look at, those are like the pillars.
Right.
That's the foundation of the home. If those are messed up, well, how can you throw, framing on it? How can you throw a roof on it?
Yeah.
It's just going to crumble.
Sure.
And, I think we live in this, we do live in this fast food nation, right? But we also take that same mindset over to our health. Like, we want the quickest and easiest solution, but sometimes the best thing to do is just go back to the basics. Am I eating right? Am I getting sunshine? Am I working out? Am I actually pushing weight? Like, am I lifting weights? Because it shouldn't just all be cardio. It should be a nice balance. And if you can, am I having sex with my partner? People don't realize how powerful just a sexual relationship is. And we have patients that come to us that haven't had sex with their partner in years.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. Let's slow down a little bit. But I think if you can go just to the basics before you throw on the therapies that we offer, you're going to have just a much better time.
When I'm going to dive into each one of those maybe a little bit. When you talk about diet when your physicians talk with clients about diet, what are the main things you're looking for?
Whole foods, not processed foods, good water intake, protein. Protein is always preached about, because we constantly have patients that are, either trying to put on muscle or lose weight, or have plateaued. And the reality is most people are not getting the amount of protein they need in a day just by eating their normal food. But if you can start with those and you can start adding layers and layers on, I mean, we talk a lot about accountability and, holding yourself to a different standard than maybe when you start a program. If it's weight, are you stepping on the scale every day? You have to be obsessed about that shit.
Yeah.
You have to be obsessed. I mean, like Eric Hinman, for example, in order for him to achieve his goals, he's got to be obsessed about working out and getting to another level. It's no different for any of this other stuff. But if you're starting with those basics, you got a really good fighting chance of winning.
I'm curious on the TRT thing, because I guess background, we've done blood work now.
Yep.
I've done it through the 2 different ice barrel studies. The first one, I was training like a madman, like 4 hours a day, really intense, at the top of my fitness game, feeling really good, but knowing that I was redlining, 6 times a week. And when we hopped on the first blood work call, I had low T.
Sure.
And really low free T. And I was like, huh. So I wonder, and I guess long story short, I came back. This is like when I hurt my feet, I stopped running and training as much for a while. We did the second coming. And between those 2 periods, just because I had been more chill and hanging out, my testosterone went up by 40%.
Wow.
Just from chilling. No change in diet. The only thing is I just didn't run and exercise as much. And so I wonder if there's like a slippery slope here where somebody sees low T like I did and they get on TRT when it's not actually necessary. And I'm curious, like, how do you guys decipher if it's the right time?
Yeah, it's first and foremost, guys like you, when you feel good, we're not going to put you on testosterone. Right, you were pushing yourself to limits and extremes that most guys can't do that. So it's kind of a combination of both. We take blood and we take symptoms. If you came to us and you said, "Man, I'm sitting in this sub 500 nanogram per deciliter range, but I feel great," well, there's no need to intervene at all. If you came to us with that same testosterone score and you said, "I feel like shit. I can't get off the couch. I have no energy. I'm barely lifting weights," well, then it makes sense. So it's a little bit of a science. It's a little bit of an art.
Yeah.
You got to combine them. More importantly, we look at blood to keep us safe, to confirm what maybe those symptoms are actually saying. Sometimes they don't correlate. Sometimes they do. I mean, we have guys that come in that have high testosterone scores and abnormally low free testosterone and feel like shit. And a lot of times that's a great candidate for TRT. We got to bring that total up to get the free up in some instances.
Yeah.
But it's, in a short answer, it's a little bit of an art and a science. You got to use blood to confirm, what we think. But it doesn't always correlate. And you got to use blood from a safety profile. You got to make sure that the patient is healthy,
right?
Healthy enough to actually add some type of, intervention like testosterone. So in your case, you wouldn't be a candidate because you were pushing yourself. And it makes sense that when you slow down a little bit or a lot, or, even if you refrain from, certain physical activity and sexual activity days before your actual, blood test, your markers can change dramatically.
Yeah, even from morning to night. Like in one day you can have a dramatic swing, which
absolutely.
I guess I didn't really realize that. You think of someone being like, oh, he's a high testosterone person or a low T person. It's like, Well, it kind of just depends on where you are at that time.
Yeah, and I think we have to be careful as an industry to just say every guy that's got low testosterone scores from a biomarker perspective should be on testosterone, because that's not the case.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That part feels scary to me.
Yep.
And it also feels like a slippery slope where like that number feels like it's getting pushed down. Like you hear about guys in their 20s being on TRT, and I feel like just maybe a few years ago, hormone replacement therapy was only for people that were, whatever, late 40s, 50s.
Yeah. It's rare we put somebody on TRT in their 30s.
Yeah.
The sweet spot is typically 40s and up.
Okay.
But there's other ways to intervene with guys who are younger.
Okay.
There's supplements. There's changing of lifestyle habits. There's therapies that have been around for years that are now being used for boosting testosterone naturally, like Clomid or Clomiphene, that can jumpstart a guy's testosterone by 1 to 2 times the natural amount.
What does that come from? How do you make Clomid?
It's made in a lab, just like, testosterone, and it was originally designed for fertility.
Okay.
And then they found out that it was really good for boosting, male testosterone as well.
Gotcha.
Like, for example, my wife went through fertility issues and we had fertility issues, and to increase her, her level of, fertileness, she was given Clomid. So, and now we know that it's prescribed off label to men, but that said, it boosts natural production of testosterone, because if your LH, your luteinizing hormone, is producing testosterone, if your testes are producing it, but maybe not just enough, it's a good way to jumpstart it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Have you looked at like Fedosia agrestis or Tangadali, that kind of stuff? What's your take on that?
I think
or I guess maybe background for people that are like, what words were those?
Yeah, no.
What are they? And
supplements. I mean, I think everybody is at a different point in their journey. And, I look back at my journey and I wish I would have understood the Tangadali's, the Fedosia agrestis, ashwagandha, zinc, vitamin D. I mean, people... those are sexy because Huberman's talking a lot about them, but just vitamin D in itself is extremely powerful for testosterone. Zinc is really good.
Well, vitamin D is a hormone, right?
Exactly.
It's not a vitamin.
Exactly.
It's like a lazy nomenclature.
I mean, it's rare, man, that we have guys that come in naturally with good testosterone levels that have low vitamin D. They almost correlate all the time.
Yeah.
Their vitamin D levels are often, pretty, they correlate typically to their testosterone levels. And the reality is most of us lack vitamin D.
I mean, what are the numbers now in the US? It's something like...
It's like 80%.
Yeah, and it's
a lot.
It's even more if you have dark skin.
Totally.
It's like a crazy number.
Totally. And a lot of times you have to supplement with it. And it's an easy fix typically, outside of just getting sunshine.
Is that, do you think, mainly a factor of our grandparents were always outside and now a lot of us are under fluorescent lights and office buildings and cubicles and shit like that?
That's a good question. I'm sure there's a clinical answer to that. I would guess yes.
It just seems so...
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen, we're seeing in my opinion, a massive epidemic of testosterone levels dropping in men. Why it's not being talked about more, I don't know, but I have my conspiracy theories. But that's also a correlating factor. We're not working as much. We're not physically working as much. Men, in the 50s and 60s just worked more physically, and processed foods and stuff like that. I mean, I think all of it plays an impact. But I would guess, a strong guess, that we're just inside more and we're on Zoom calls and just not out working it with our hands as often.
Yeah, it seems like the most likely story to me is just like, as the time decreases, as time spent outside decreases,
totally,
so does testosterone.
Yep.
It seems like a pretty easy answer to me. But
yeah, I'm
also the guy that tells everyone to go outside, so I don't know. Maybe that's biased.
But it's spot on. I mean, go for a walk, do something first thing in the morning. I try my best to do it. I have 2 kids where it's like I got to get them fed, and it's not like I can just walk down the street and go get some sunshine. I got to take them with me every time. But I try to have good habits, and getting out in nature and getting sun is a very good thing. For me, it's very therapeutic. I feel my cortisol, my stress significantly decrease when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I feel myself being able to think better just naturally.
I think the circles that I run around in, they often like shit on things like golf or like mowing your lawn, just like very civilized dad activities. And I have the exact opposite response. I think things like small suburban neighborhood things like that are the only reason we still have men that are alive 60, 70, 80 years old, because they have no other excuse to go outside. If they're not into fitness or hiking or these big adventure sports that a lot of us do, which that's most of America,
Sure.
Their only excuse to get outside is A, to go mow the grass, or B, go play golf with their friends. So like you can make fun of, that like as an activity, like, oh, just like neighborhood suburban dad pushing a lawnmower, but the health benefits of that guy might literally never go outside if it wasn't for that.
Totally. I mean, I think there's a physical piece and then there's a mental component to that. And if you look at what happens when a dad's mowing the lawn or going golfing, he's not stressed, right?
Chilling.
He's chilling. Mentally, he's chilling. Like
Chilling hard.
he's mowing that lawn because he's like, I don't got 2 fucking kids hanging on my
Might
shoulders.
have a Bud Heavy in his hand.
Yeah, totally. And
He's
think
got
about it.
AC/DC on. He's having a
Absolutely.
good time. Yeah.
Shirts off,
Shirts off.
and he's getting sunshine. But think about the impact that stress has on your heart, and heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in men. I think that's a tangible fact.
We got to keep advocating for dads to have the tarps off.
Let's go.
Get out there and mow the lawn with your shirt
Absolutely.
off, baby.
I mean, dude, honestly, like one of the things that I want to do with Blokes is just empower guys to live a better life, whether we are part of that in terms of like hormones and peptides is not really like the end all be all. It's more about doing labs and owning that journey in your health and picking up tips from guys like you, guys like Eric, to just live a better and healthier life, because we live less than women. We go to the doctor far less often. We are far worse consumers when it comes to health and just taking action.
I'm curious with the peptide stuff because I actually know nothing about it. And I guess that's kind of why I asked about the Fedocia and stuff like that, because like I can be sold on a product that is a capsuled Nigerian shrub.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is an attractive thing to me. I'm like, oh, it's literally a plant and it can have an impact on my testosterone or these different biomarkers. Peptides are like this other thing. Like I hear that word, but I don't understand them. They sound less natural, but I don't know if that's true. Is it like kind of lab rat style or?
Yes and no. I look at it a little bit differently. I look at supplements like what you talked about that's coming from the earth as like a great option. And I look at peptides as something that's flowing through our body naturally right now. Like we have 7,000 peptides flowing through our body right now.
Okay.
I don't think everybody's a candidate for it. I think it's a time and a place for all these. Some of them are extremely beneficial. Like you can't live without insulin, for example, is a peptide. It's an exogenous form of a peptide, but when it's in your body, it's a hormone. You can't live without insulin. Like nobody.
Yeah.
So, I look at it maybe a little bit differently. And then I look at some peptides as vanity. Like there's phenomenal peptides, like growth hormone peptides that stimulate more of your body's natural production, that are great for vitality, great for skin elasticity, great for muscle tone, great for appetite. But I think are they lab rat like? Yeah, to some extent, like they're pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
And we have, I think close to 70 FDA approved peptides in the market, with insulin being the big one. And then there's a lot that is compounded in pharmacies. So
tell me a little bit about this one that you sent me, BPC 157.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So BPC 157, it's a big one. somewhat on the FDA's radar for coming off for, reasons that are just ridiculous. But anyways, it's body protection compound is what it stands for. It's gotten a lot of buzz because it's been nicknamed the Wolverine drug. It does magic for gut health and healing and inflammation and wounds, and it mimics the healing properties, the gastric bypass healing properties in your gut lining, and it's just phenomenal for regeneration and healing. I mean, I take it daily because I had so many issues in my younger years of cutting weight with wrestling, and I did it the wrong way. I was taking stuff that I shouldn't have been taking to help me cut weight,
like those
X-Lax.
Oh, X-Lax.
I was taking X-Lax, dude. I was the dumbest fucking thing I could have ever done. But if I needed to shed some pounds, I was like, let's go, and I it was pretty much my sophomore and junior year of high school wrestling. And I think I legitimately did permanent damage to my gut and my stomach. And I took it, going into it, like not even thinking. I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. And all of a sudden my bowels just changed, like within like 2 days. Because dramatically.
That's a thing with people that have anorexia too, right? X-Lax is like a big drug that's abused in that realm.
Yeah, man, it works. Like what's crazy about it is it's over the counter. I mean, I get why it's over the counter. Sure. But it also is like crazy because you can abuse the shit out of it. I did. I was in high school, man, and I would just walk into Walgreens and buy it, but it did permanent damage. So I went into it with like an open mind, but I originally went into utilizing BPC for a small injury. And then I had all these ripple effects from my bowels, and I was like, oh my God, that's weird. I stopped it for a little bit, and all of a sudden my bowels just kind of came back. Like, really? Yeah, like it was just not regular bowels, and then my wife and I, we took like a little small hiatus after we sold our home, went down to Mexico, Costa Rica, brought all our peptides, all our hormones with us.
You guys got like a suitcase with all this different stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude. We travel hard on that stuff. So here's what happened.
We're happy drug dealers.
Yeah, absolutely. We're probably like 3/4 of our trip is done. We run out of our BPC 157, and you got to imagine you're in a different country. The food system
scratching yourself.
Well, dude, my bowels came back.
Oh no!
Like immediately. So it's one of those drugs that like it's like a subtle effect for me, but when I get off of it, I notice the impact dramatically. Some people who have like autoimmune issues or just really bad, inflammation, or we've even seen people with osteoarthritis take it. It's like extremely impactful. For me, I mean, I could live with my bowel issues. It's not as fun, but I also just feel better. Like for example, lifting with Eric, I'm trying to pop some BPC before I went, just for the sheer fact that like I want my body to heal for my next workout tomorrow with them. Yeah. So it's a big drug, got really put on the market by a guy named Ben Greenfield. Oh yeah. Who's, been in the peptides for many, many years, biohacker. He calls it the Wolverine drug, and it's kind of just,
What do you think about Ben Greenfield?
I think he's great. But I also think he likes a lot of different stuff, and I can't always tell if it's like genuinely love
or if he's getting
for
paid.
The product, or if it's just like a lot of endorsements and who's the highest bidder. But I think he's done a lot of great things for biohacking and just understanding the body. And I mean, he's a pioneer in the field.
Yeah, I really liked the information I got from him early in my fitness journey. I thought was really good, and I thought he had a really good scientific approach to things. He like made things very easy and laid out like different protocols and routines. The thing is, just when he does like the slicked back hair and one eye's like kind of closed and he's like, I'm Ben Greenfield, that's when I have to flip the channel, because I'm like, he's like, now he's doing a salesman thing, and it just like feels like
Yeah, I've had a little bit of interaction with them. We approached them. It didn't necessarily work out, but I'm really into the idea of brand builders like Eric, right? Like we work together because you believe in the brand, and there's a lot of different brands out there. we're not at a point where, we're going to shell out a bunch of checks to a bunch of influencers and affiliates just to do it. Like I want people to buy into what we believe in as founders, and I want people to buy into what we do as a company.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it's not a big check, then so be it.
Yeah, it's just, you have to be careful, right? Because so much of the stuff, at least from the consumer's perspective, you're thinking, okay, a certain percentage of this is snake oil. So whoever is like the lead guy, you have to make sure that you can really trust him.
Totally.
At least, and maybe I'm just like totally critical of everyone, but like
you should
sometimes when people are like selling this stuff, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe some of this stuff will make a difference in the margin, but ultimately I think eating whole foods, being in the sunshine, any of that stuff is going to be 99% more effective than this device that you're trying to sell me.
Totally.
So
dude, I think we have a responsibility as a consumer to be critical,
mm-hmm.
because we have so much bullshit, so much information that is coming at us every single day. I mean, we make somewhere between 30 to 40,000 decisions, and how much is affected by social media?
Yeah,
a lot. And I think we've lost that criticism of like brands. I mean, I'm a skeptic too, man. Like it takes me a long time to warm up to a lot of different things, but I've also feel like I've peeked under the hood a little bit. I used to, and I learned this because we work with a PR firm, and I had no idea that this stuff existed. But the big publications, the big magazines, household names,
mm-hmm.
when they're running top 10 products, they're getting paid for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's backlinks and there's channels that they're getting a kick, a reimbursement off of every product that they're promoting.
Yeah.
And I know this because I've been asked to do this. I haven't done it yet. And we will, because there's a business play to it. And it doesn't even mean you're bad or you're wrong, but you in order for us to play that game, we got to do it.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to me to realize how much of these big, take for Men's Health, Women's Health, Maxim, Play, all the big magazines. I don't even really read any of them, but they're all getting some type of reimbursement. And they realized that when affiliates and influencers were starting to really take over the market and getting paid lots of money to just do one single post.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, the money in that world is bizarre. Like just the volume of cash that circulates in the influencer world.
I won't name any names, but I've had influencers contact me and say, I'll do a single post for $10,000. A single fucking post, dude. And I tell them to go pound sand as quickly as possible. Like, that's just not who we are. That's not what we're about. But there's far more opportunity for certain people who have bigger influence.
Sure.
I don't even want to know what a Kim Kardashian gets paid to do a single post, or doing an ad on a Rogan podcast or Huberman podcast. Like, I mean, that's big bucks there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Really, you got to get them using it, and you got to get them believing in it. That's what we want. We want that authenticity, and then we can look at, hey, is there a partnership? Is there an opportunity to build the brand together?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I never thought I would be exploring that world, and now I'm like starting to learn about brand deals and all that stuff, and most of it just bothers me, and I just like don't want to deal with it, and I just kind of want to have total autonomy and freedom to do whatever I want and not do whatever I want, because I feel like if you go down that road, it's this really slippery slope of being tied to put on for all these different companies, even if it's something I believe in. Like, I love this shirt, but I don't want to go tell everyone to buy this shirt. That feels weird for me. Like,
yeah.
Buy whatever shirt you want to buy. You don't need to buy my shirt. Like, I like this shirt. You might not.
Yeah. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would say, if you go down it, and you are, at least do it with brands you believe in.
Yeah, for sure. And it feels better on the podcast
Totally.
because the podcast is long form, and I've tried any ads on here. I've tried to put like in the beginning so they're not annoying. It doesn't hurt the listener experience. And it's like a quick obvious 60-second thing. You can skip it if you don't want to listen to it.
Totally.
And then you can keep on keeping on. Because I don't want this thing to ever turn into like a commercial thing. I want it to be friends sitting down and kicking it and
Totally.
chatting.
And that's why you see some of these podcasts doing so well. I mean, like a Rogan. You know? I mean, he's obviously the pinnacle, but same thing with guys like Huberman and, Ben Shapiro. It's a big ass podcast. I mean, it's because the hosts believe in the products that they actually talk about. But ad dollars are ad dollars.
Yeah.
You got to run a business.
That's the thing that people don't understand is like, I don't have a lot of money, but these mics are expensive. So ultimately, you got to start at least thinking about it.
Totally.
What is something, this is a question I thought of this morning for you. What is something in the health market, maybe it's in Blokes market, kind of that range specifically, that you think is complete snake oil?
Oh, good question. Man, I will tell you, I'm biased on our products. I don't think anything we have is snake oil. And I think it's because we're held to a really high standard with a lot of clinical efficacy behind it.
Yeah.
I really, really think supplements is shady shit in so many cases. I also think supplements can be extremely, extremely beneficial. But the reason why I think there can be a lot of snake oil there is because it's the Wild Wild West. The regulatory landscape on that is basically nothing. I mean, you can be getting your stuff from God knows where and putting a label on it, and people can just consume it. For us, like, we're held to FDA standards, we're held to FTC standards, we're held to standards that most can't even keep up with. So nothing that we necessarily do, but I think supplements are a fine line.
Is there a supplement, like a household name, that comes to mind that you think is just not worth its?
No. I would say not every supplement is created equal, though. I think, if you're getting stuff from certain, supermarkets, it's not going to be the same as like a pharmaceutical grade supplement that goes through different testing, that has different purity. I think that those all play a massive role. The source make a huge difference. Yeah.
Let me flip that. What supplement do you think is really well researched and backable that is not named creatine?
Okay.
Were you going to go there?
Creatine is one of them.
Because I've had a couple people on, and I always ask people, like, what supplement do you like? And they're like, creatine. I'm like, something new.
I mean, I take creatine, but not that often. But it's a highly researched.
The research supplement is pretty. It has a longer time horizon too. Yeah. It's had last 20 years to really get research. So
yeah, I mean, I think, listen, just household names like vitamin D is phenomenal. Zinc, magnesium, those are clinically studied that have a ton of benefits for every human.
The thing that scares me with stuff like that is just sourcing.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like, how much of this shit is coming from like China factories and then like getting shipped across the world, and then I'm like taking some little capsule that is, this magic pill, but really it's kind of this, I don't know.
I mean, dude, that's my biggest argument, right? Like, first of all, it's not regulated. You got to look at the process that we go through for anything that's coming from our compounding pharmacies or straight from the pharmaceutical manufacturer. It's held to just a completely different standard, starting with the ingredients. Supplements, on the other hand, God knows where they're coming from. They could be coming from China. They can be coming from. I mean, it doesn't matter. Look at the label, figure out where it's coming from. Yeah. But also knowing that I think the consumer has to do a little bit of research on their own too.
Definitely. I'm a big believer in like the power of fungi and different mushrooms, and I pretty much have found one that I like, which is the Stamets 7 protocol. Sure. I don't get paid to say any of this. Yeah. This is just Paul Stamets has a company called Host Defense, and all of their products, they're mainly mycelium based. They're all from the old growth forests in Canada. Wow. And so I'm like, yes, that's where I want my mushrooms or mycelium to come from. And they basically have traced a bunch of these mushroom products, and they all come from China and
that's crazy.
Like different labs. So I would rather pay just a little bit more and like see where my stuff is coming from, these like big magical forests.
For sure.
So
I mean, but the same thing can be said about your foods, you know? I mean, walk down a standard grocery store aisle and look at the ingredients in these processed foods. I mean, half of them you can't pronounce.
yeah.
Go to Whole Foods. It's a different story. I mean, we were just talking about, Eric and I were just talking about those masa chips. Have you tried those?
I haven't.
They're fucking phenomenal.
Are they good?
But they have 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
3 ingredients.
Or they're like fried in tallow.
Tallow.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and
That's
you
a
know,
slippery slope for me, man. I don't know if I can have that around.
yeah,
I just don't have that kind of willpower.
I know, dude. They are like, especially, you know, 8 o'clock rolls around. You're like, and they're good. They're salty, so you like crave them more. But my bigger point is there's 3 ingredients in that.
Yeah.
Now go to King Soopers, go to any grocery store, and look at. Just grab 4 random bags of corn chips.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to be able to pronounce some of those ingredients.
Yeah, mostly seed oils and shit like that.
So at least if you're going to veg out or get the munchies and go to town, at least eat the better shit.
Yeah, definitely. I think the resurgence of fat in our diet is like becoming cool again. It's kind of all that matters when you're in the woods, and you know there isn't really anything else that you prioritize above fat. And anything that you can cook in fat, you do cook in fat, and then you eat the fat after, and then you render the fat and you use the fat again, and it's like just this massive resource that you keep using.
Yep.
And then when you're in the front country and you have all of this food and all of this caloric availability, you have to like avoid fat. So like I can't even have stuff like that in my house because I know I will just smash it, and my body will be like, keep going.
Totally.
We got to run 400 miles tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to eat all these chips.
It's amazing, dude. You look at the evolution of just like advertising and the it was either lack of knowledge or just complete misleading people in terms of how we've educated on foods. I just saw like ads from the 60s and 70s on the promotion of sugar, using it to aid in weight loss, using it to make you more energetic, or it makes you more energetic, but it's bad.
Right.
There's studies that show that sugar is more addicting than cocaine.
Yeah, it's wild.
Literally.
It's crazy. And there was one of those like old ads I was looking at where I think it was cornflakes. Do you know how they were invented?
No.
They made this basically cardboard like cereal to destroy the libido of folks in like serious psychiatric care. And they would feed them this cornflake meal all the time. And then they like sugarized it and put it on shelves.
Jesus.
And I'm pretty sure, now you got to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, we'll just keep them calorically alive, but we'll kill their libido using this cardboard cereal. And eventually it ended up on our shelves and what we serve to our families.
The power of big foods, the power of big pharma, the power of insurance. They're all sitting on it now. The power of media, social media. They're all sitting on each other's boards. They put money in Congress, senators' pockets really quickly, and a lot of it doesn't surprise me. I mean, there are worse shit that we've done. But our food system is, I mean, Jesus Christ, you see the food pyramid recently where they're putting, like shitty cereals ahead of like meat.
Steak, yeah.
What the, like,
it was, there was one, it was like chocolate covered ice cream cone, I think, and it was above eggs.
I might want that more, but it isn't better for me.
I was like, what?
Dude, it's crazy, man. I mean, dude, look at, I was watching, I don't know. I don't watch sports that much, but I was watching like the NBA playoffs or something. I can't. It was something like that.
Dude, the Nuggets are good.
They are good. They
shouldn't have moved from Denver.
I know.
A good basketball team.
I know.
Now.
We don't even have one in Nashville. But it was shocking to me how many goddamn big time celebs and especially athletes are spokespersons for Subway. Have you seen, like, dude, I swear to God, I saw like Steph Curry, might even, I don't know if it was LeBron, but it was like of that stature.
That same level.
I mean, all over the Subway commercials. Like, how can they? I mean, we just talked about this. Money is money, but like, goddamn, how is that still happening?
I don't know. If you paid me $1 million, I'd probably get on a Subway commercial.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I guess that's the answer.
Fuck, I'd eat 10 of them. Yeah, that is the answer. But like, how has there not been another brand that's emerged that is as powerful? I mean, Subway's huge. I get that. They're in so many different countries. But how has there not been a healthy brand that has emerged like that celebrities can get behind and endorse the right way?
Who's the healthy one for convenient food?
There isn't one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a massive opportunity. I can't believe it hasn't happened.
We kind of have our rule here, which is no fast food, and our one convenience is Chipotle.
Dude,
We'll do Chipotle.
But you can do Chipotle right.
Well, no matter what's wrong with it, there's seed oils, there's all this stuff. You know, I don't want to be orthorexic where I'm like, I'm only going to eat meat and broccoli. Yeah. And I will stare at the sun for 12 hours a day.
Like Paul Saudino.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not going to live that like obsessive life. But at least at Chipotle, you can certainly hit your protein goal. Totally. You know, that's one big thing that you can look at and be like, okay, well, I'm getting plenty of protein at least. Yeah. So,
I mean, like, I feel like there's a level of responsibility, but there's also like a level of just like, fuck, man, I want to live a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I've had this conversation with quite a few folks. It's like, at what point does that start become damaging to your life when you're so worried about every single little thing that you're actually spiking your cortisol and getting overwhelmed and you're being scared of everything? And yeah, I think it's a slippery slope.
Totally, man. It's like having stress in your life can be good, but you know, if you're, I don't know, man. I couldn't do it. I'm fortunate that my wife is very, very driven in what comes in our house for food. I probably wouldn't be as strict. So like my options have changed. My options are just better. Like if you're constantly, you have these, you know, tendencies or, you know, things that are at your disposal, you're gonna gravitate towards them. So for me, it's being very cautious on what's even coming in your house.
Yeah, I think of being a fat kid like an alcoholic. Like for me, I was a fat kid, so it's like I just can't be around a bunch of unhealthy food because I will smash it.
Well,
like
it's an addiction.
It is just what it is.
Yeah.
So if there's less options, like I love meat and fruit. So if it's like there's only meat and fruit, I'm just gonna smash meat and fruit.
Yeah, totally.
And then don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, man.
What is, I'm curious what your wife and you kind of speak on her behalf. What do you think about drinking tap water?
We don't do it.
You don't drink tap water?
No. We have a Berkey in the house.
Okay, tell me about that.
Have you seen one? It's a big silver. Well, first and foremost, we're in an Airbnb. We've been in one because we're in the process of building. But and in our house in Denver, we had a whole house filter system. It was about 5 feet tall, so everything in the house was filtered.
Even the showers, the sinks, everything.
Yes, because that makes a difference.
Sure.
But the Berkey is just, I don't even know how much it is. My wife bought it. So, but it's just this big silver cylinder like object that you take the tap water, and it's got these two black kind of, they almost feel like rocks, and they filter everything. And it gives you basically one of the purest forms of water. The other thing is it just tastes fucking good. You can tell a substantial taste difference in it too. So we obviously we shower with it because we were forced to, but when it comes to the actual drinking of it, we don't drink just straight out of the sink or tap water.
Gotcha.
I think listen, I think, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the most educated guy in that category, but I think I don't trust our systems and our cities and our government to be doing the right thing for us. And it's proven in so many different municipalities.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the experts I've talked to have said that it could, I guess we will figure out, but it could lead to this massive increase we're seeing in estrogen in men.
Dude, there's no doubt that our environment is playing a role in our hormones, both male and female. 100%. Plastics, water, pollution, you know, even our environment of, you know, cortisol levels with social media, television, gaming. There's access to drugs like marijuana. That these are antagonists to optimal testosterone levels, optimal hormones in general. So there's no doubt that it plays a role.
Yeah. It's just, again, that question of like how much is too much. Like for me with the tap water thing, it's like I know a lot of people act like tap water is poison. Like they'll even say it's toxic or use these like crazy words. But then I'm like, well, do you take baths?
Yeah, right.
They're like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
bathe in it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm like, so you bathe in poison? And that's like a weird thing for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, this comes back to that, control as much as you can. It's pretty hard to live in, that perfect scenario. I mean, we couldn't do it. I mean, like we just traveled for the last week, man. I'm like, damn, we've been talking about how we hate plastics, and we have all these goddamn plastic water bottles in our car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me where you're gonna. What are you just gonna buy a Yeti every time you land? You
Yeah.
know. So, I try to practice as much as we preach, but I think, like Eric Henman talks about this a lot, controlling your environment.
Mm-hmm.
He travels, but when he travels, he's very cognizant of how he travels, where he travels, what that environment is like when you get there. We try to do the same thing.
Yeah. He's a little bit more type A on that stuff than I am.
Totally.
When we went to High Rocks in Dallas, first thing we did when we got there is went to get some Texas barbecue, and I got this thing called like the Monster or something.
Yeah.
It was like every type of barbecue on one sandwich. It was like that big. It was amazing.
He didn't get it?
No, he got like 10 chicken wings.
Eric,
like,
come on,
He
bro.
got like 10 smoked chicken wings.
Did he work out, or had he not working out yet?
No, we had a race the next day. So it was like the
Okay.
day off.
All
You
right.
fly in.
Yeah.
You got to get like a pre-race meal.
That's pretty good that do you feel pretty good? The next day?
I beat him. That's all that matters.
Hell yeah. That's amazing.
I'll never let him live it down.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, it was that was a really fun trip, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with the Dallas food scene. Like,
Good or bad?
it's good. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of like Dallas as being like a really good food city, but if you're a meat
either.
eater, like
Totally.
they have meat down there.
Lots of barbecue, lots of steak.
Yeah, and they have a lot of ranchers, a lot of private
Yep.
land. So
Yep.
I think, far and away, the meat's going to be a little bit higher quality.
Yep.
So that's a bonus. What's your take on this age reversal thing? You think people can live forever, get younger? Have you listened to any of like the
Oh, yeah.
David Sinclair
Oh, yeah.
podcasts or anything like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
What I will tell you is, I think you can increase longevity and lifespan and health span just by controlling your diet and your exercise, and being proactive about your health far more than anything else. Like right now there's the epigenetic test where it's telling you your biological age. I don't know, man. I can't get there. Like I went to this thing called A4M.
For people that don't know, what is biological age versus chronological
Yeah,
age?
I mean it's basically age is your number, and then the biological piece is, how you live and feel and your health. So it takes that number. I mean, it can be the opposite. You can actually be older because you're out of shape.
Sure.
And if you're in shape, you're likely going to be less than your chronological age. So it's just taking the health of the individual and then putting an age to it.
Yeah. So maybe you're 45, but you're in really good shape. So you're 38 on your biological age.
Right. I mean, I went to, conventions at like this thing called A4M, which is a big anti-aging conference, and they hooked everybody up. There's this new gizmo and gadget, and they just hooked you up by your hands, and all of a sudden it's telling you your biological age.
It's like Scientology.
Totally, dude. I'm like, so we talked about snake oil, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. Like, everybody's younger, and I mean, you see the.
Was it a grip test or was it electricity?
No, it was more like an electrical impulse. It was not a grip test, which grip test is a sign, like good grip is a sign of longevity.
And well recovered.
Totally.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think it's a big buzzword. To me, it's, I think there's a lot of merit, but I think there's still a lot that we need to understand. You know, I look at, not because we do it, because we'll probably have like some type of genetic testing. I've been around it for a long time. And, you know, I think there's a lot more that we need to understand. And if you talk to a lot of scientists, they would say the same thing that are in the field. You know, you got guys like Gary Brecka with 10 times health system with Grant Cardone and all that, who's going in and saying you're going to die at this age. It's bullshit, dude. I mean, I've talked to genetics, you know, scientists that
Wait, time out. They tell you when you're going to die?
Yeah. You haven't seen this with Dana White? Like, all you got to do is Google Dana White and genetic tests or something like that. And there's a guy named Gary Brecka who got supported by a guy named Grant Cardone. Do you know Grant Cardone? Big, massive following with real estate. Like, he's a big personality.
I don't know.
But they invested in
real
him.
estate.
Yeah. And it's called the 10 times health system, but it's part of 10 times Grant Cardone Ventures. And thinks he's got this biological test, this genetic test that can come in and predict when somebody's going to die.
Huh. Well, isn't it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because if you said you're going to die in 10 years unless you make A, B, or C change, and then you make A, B, or C change and you don't die in 10 years, then you can say it was my...
Right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, right.
Like how,
yeah,
I mean,
totally.
How can you disprove that?
I mean,
I could be this guy.
Totally. It's snake oil.
Business
no,
model.
it's snake oil, man. It's I mean, at least at this point it is. I'm not saying that we won't have some really massive innovations in the anti-aging and longevity space, because I think we will. And probably not that long. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, I think, you know, look at stem cell research, you know, just knowing the body better and how it can age better. I mean, I think testosterone's a phenomenal thing for longevity and vitality. I mean, we know it improves those.
I've heard that testosterone can lead to cancer down the road. Is that true? Like high T? Or
no.
Maybe I'm just like
no. I mean,
that.
So I give the analogy that, you know, and this isn't like a perfect example, but testosterone is if your body is a bell curve, the peak is an optimal level, and then you have your outliers. The low side is low T, and the high side is abnormally high testosterone bodybuilders. Both of those have a diminishing return, and what you tend to see, it's actually the opposite. Guys, your testosterone is a phenomenal therapy for inflammation. A lot of disease states start with inflammation. So I would argue that it's probably more of a catalyst of low T than it is an optimal level of testosterone.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like I have not heard that. I've never heard that take on it. I don't know who it was that was like saying that. I'm trying to remember where I heard that. Somewhere was saying that testosterone in the end can like lead to cancer.
No, I would maybe argue the fact that low T is your body's gonna live in a more inflamed state that can lead to things like that. On the other side, high T, like where you're abnormally high.
What is high T and like number?
I mean, it's really like what you see with the bodybuilder world.
1,000.
Oh no, it's. You know, we would recommend guys to live somewhere in that area between 700 nanograms per deciliter to 1,200.
Okay.
Now, you got outliers. You're going to be higher at times and lower at times. But something that is, you know, 1,500, 2,000 or higher is getting really high. And it's likely not natural. Right. And it's coming from anabolic steroids, not stuff.
And that kind of stuff can lead to cancer.
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe that was the perspective was like that.
Yeah,
that
and
crazy
heart disease.
Heart disease. Okay.
I mean, there's some shit that's happening in the bodybuilder world that people are not talking about.
Dude,
they're just flying. I mean, they're just falling. Like they're done. You got to understand these drugs. Testosterone's a controlled substance, and it can be. I look at it differently, but it's considered that because it's addicting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it addictive?
Yeah, you get a high from it. You literally get a high when you feel it. Now, over time, your receptors, your body becomes more adaptive to it and you feel it less. But it's like any other drug. You're going to continue to chase that high.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it's vanity or just like a physical reaction. Like,
what does it feel like when you, like, your experience with it? What was like the high? Like, is it like I'm determined to go get shit done?
Yeah.
Or is it I am very self-confident? What's the...
All of the above.
Okay.
I will tell you my levels.
This is not advice to go do testosterone.
No. Everybody's different. And the most important thing about testosterone, make sure you're getting it from a good source and under medical supervision, not Joey at the fucking gym, you know, who's benching 450 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it under medical supervision and incorporate labs. I can't even tell you, just because it's under medical supervision doesn't mean it's being done the right way. We have so many guys that come to us who haven't had a lab in a year and they're on testosterone and they've been on it for many, many years or months. And there's a lot of things that you should be looking for that are life changing, like hematocrit. And that's a very easy marker to test, but it's your viscosity of your blood. And guys can get really fucked up if they have high hematocrits and they've been on testosterone for a long time and they have not dumped or donated, you know, blood. So it's an easy fix, but if you're not getting labs, you're never going to be able to know that. Yeah,
it's so cool to see actual numbers on labs. I remember when we were looking at the effects of the catecholamine receptors from pre-cold plunge to post-cold plunge, because I had heard that stat where it's like you'll have dopamine and other catecholamines increase 300%. And in my head, I was like, that sounds impossible. That sounds like cocaine. That sounds like, you know, one of those drugs that makes you all wild.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, you get to look at your own body. And
it's crazy.
My dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine was all like 280% higher.
Well, and that's like, think about it, man. Think about the high you get from, I don't know, skiing or a hike or cold plunging or just any natural life event. It literally, you feel it. So it makes sense that your biomarkers are playing to that. And the same thing with depression, the same thing with anxiety, you know, that your biomarkers, your dopamine levels, your cortisol levels, your overall mood and symptoms are changing.
It's all connected.
Yep.
You know what I want to do is do it with breath work. I bet the breath work catecholamine changes are even higher than cold plunge.
Let's do it.
I honestly think so, because sometimes after breath work, I get to a point where it's like, you know, you feel high after a cold plunge, but like breath work is like another level. I feel like if you're really focused and intentional and, you know, really
you should do it
in the experience.
Well, and especially with guys who know how to do breath work, you know, because you can get your body in that state pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I also want to do some blood testing pre and post sex.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
And just see what changes. You know, obviously it's an intimate setting, so it's not like we're going to be doing this in like a community fashion.
Hold on, baby.
Yeah, right. Eric, go ahead, man. Go ahead, get it done. Yeah, Ryan, you done? Okay, I'm going to go. But maybe just like, you know, it's not as accurate, but some
15 minutes. All right, time.
Yeah, totally. Fuck, 15, let's go. But, you know, even like, you know, a finger prick test.
Yeah.
Take before. Hey, babe, let's go, you know, and then 5 minutes later, see what happens.
Well, you guys, I guess we're going to have to leave that in your hands, because you guys have the male and the female counterparts of, you know.
My wife and I will be the first to do it. We'll give it a shot first.
I guess for folks that don't know, your wife also is involved in the business and running kind of
the female side.
The female side.
Yep.
Which, kudos to you that you didn't try and do the female side, because that would have been...
Wow, dude,
tough.
Can you imagine me talking about it? But the beauty is my wife started on with the providers and the therapies on the men's side, because they're the same thing. Mm-hmm. How you diagnose and how you treat is different, and symptoms are slightly different, and levels are different. But the therapies, the hammer is the same.
Okay.
But you know, she started with the men's side and just saw so much improvement. And, you know, she saw me having some fun, but it was a life changer for her too. I mean, it was really interesting. My wife and I had our marital issues because I lost my sex drive, and I, you know, started getting out of shape, or was out of shape. And then after my wife was done breastfeeding, and she lost her sex drive and was wanting to get back in shape, after having, 2 kids and 4 miscarriages, like her body was really fucked up.
Wow.
And, so she was on the other side of that coin. So she understood like where I was coming from and like how just, things change. But we got her fixed up, man. And now she's crushing it, dude. She's rocking.
Hell yeah. I heard this funny story. Well, I'm sure you do. The cream, like you can do testosterone cream on your arm.
Yep.
There's a story about a young lady going into a place where she was going to get a vitamin drip. She sat down in a chair and all of a sudden she's like, I just wanted to have sex with all of my coworkers. She's like, we were all there for a vitamin drip and instantly all I wanted to do is have sex with my boss and like these random guys who I've seen every day. And it turns out the guy before her was sitting in that chair. He had testosterone cream and had put his arms down.
100%.
So she comes and sits down. She gets a dude's dose of testosterone in through her forearm, and instantly she's like got a male sex drive.
First of all, women need testosterone just like men. They should have more testosterone than they do estrogen. Typically they do, and they don't realize that. But things like creams, they transfer, that my wife was originally on a testosterone cream and, being around kids, we're just like, yeah, we don't want that rubbing off because it does happen. So, for us, we do injections, very small needles, little insulin needles, once or twice a week, but there's many ways to take it.
Sure.
There's an implantation with, pellets. There's cream, there's troches that dissolve under your tongue, and then there's injections. Injections for us are the cleanest, easiest way to get there, and very stable.
Gotcha. What's the dynamic like with you guys running, kind of brother and sister businesses?
It's good, and it's sometimes bad. You got to understand, like, when you're married and you're in business together, it's hard to leave it.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. And some days are amazing and you have that partner to celebrate the wins. I find us, not celebrating our small wins enough.
Yeah.
But, you got to be on the same page. And I think if we were not so passionate about what happened to us from a health perspective, there's no way we would have made it, because this business is hard. Being in 50 states in a healthcare environment, you got to understand it's not like, getting a coffee off the ground. Like there's so much regulation. There's so many rules, employing doctors, employing nurse practitioners, PAs. There's rules within that. It's probably one of the most challenging and regulated markets. But, we're good because we believe in what we're doing to our core. Like, it would take a lot to change our trajectory and what we do. But man, some days are great. Some days are fucking pain.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
What's next with the business? Is there anything that's coming out that you're like, this is the next milestone or goal?
Yep. Well, there's a few. I'm super, super bullish on our supplements.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, because we are taking individual biomarkers from you and recommending supplements off of those biomarkers. So it's taking a very personalized approach to supplements. I think that's a really big opportunity. And I think what really got my mind going on that was when we did our first ice barrel plunge.
Yeah.
And I was asking a lot of guys there, like, hey, what supplements are you taking? Why are you taking them? I don't know. Is it working? I don't know. And I think taking a scientific approach on supplements can be a game changer. I think it can also save you money.
Yeah.
Like, why take shit that you don't need?
Yeah.
Or at least analyze over time. Maybe you're getting 2 or 3 or 4 blood draws to see how those supplements are actually impacting your life outside of the symptoms. So I'm pretty bullish about that. There's a lot to it, looking at, say, 100 different biomarkers and being able to say, this is the supplement you recommend. This is how much you need. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm hoping to have that up and running like I don't know, worst case scenario 6 months, best case 3 months.
Wow.
But we've been working on it for a while.
Is there anything like that exists in the market right now?
Yeah. There is not, I wouldn't say household stuff yet. Doctors have been doing this for a while on like a functional approach, but a very individualized approach where it's like, most people can't afford it. Most people don't even know it exists. Like we want to make it to be like very commercial while having that personalization and accessible. Like I want people to go, man, I can get a blood test for $100 and get my biomarkers read and then get actual scientific and logical recommendations on what supplements I can take, because that's really the bigger market. Like, if I want to put up a clinic in Beverly Hills, I can do that and charge $2,000 for the same thing. Yeah. But for me, I want to bring it to the masses and
standardize
really
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's on that level yet, but from a personalized, and customized and expensive route, it's there.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, just maybe let people know how to learn more about Blokes if they're listening to this and they're interested in all the stuff you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, they can see guys like you, Eric Hemman at Get Blokes on Instagram. The ladies are at Joy Women's Wellness on Instagram. That's where a lot of information. JOI
for the women.
Yep. And that's where a lot of updates come from. And then our websites are super simple: blokes.co, choosejoy.co.
Sweet, man. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And I feel like I'm a lot more well-read after just talking to you.
Good, man. I loved it.
Well,
thank you.
See you guys next time.
Sweet. Yeah. That's fun, dude. Actually, I really enjoyed it.